In 2008, a team of researchers at MIT and Stanford handed patients a painkiller. Same pill for everyone, same dosage, same coating, same sugar inside. Not real medicine. Except half the patients were told it cost $2.50. The other half were told theirs had been discounted to 10 cents. Then the researchers measured pain. 85% of the expensive pill group reported significant relief. Only 61% of the cheap group did. Same pill, 24 points of difference from a price tag. Now, before writing this off as a curiosity about other people, consider what the study actually required of its participants. They were not deceived about what they were taking. They were not told one pill was stronger. They were only told a price, and their nervous systems responded to that price the same way they would have responded to a real drug. Here's what that study actually proved. The brain is not waiting for medicine to work. It is already deciding whether to heal, based on signals that have nothing to do with the medicine. Price, ritual, authority, scarcity. These are not psychological quirks. These are biological switches. Same switches that caused humans in the past to eat corpses for medicine. There is an entry buried inside a 16th-century Chinese medical encyclopedia that most people have never encountered. The encyclopedia is the Bencao Gangmu, 52 volumes, nearly 2,000 medicinal substances, compiled over a lifetime by a physician named Li Shijian, still considered one of the greatest works of scientific documentation in Chinese history. And inside it, Li Shijian describes something he calls the mellification of a man. He writes that in Arabia, certain elderly men nearing the end of their lives would volunteer. They would stop eating entirely, everything replaced by honey, eating it, drinking it, bathing in it, every day. After several weeks, their sweat would begin to smell sweet, their waist would run amber, their body tissue saturated from the inside out. When the honey diet finally killed them, the body was placed in a stone coffin, flooded with more honey, sealed, and left for 100 years. When the seal was broken, the body had become a dense amber mass, the mellified man, human candy. It was sold by the piece, prescribed for broken bones, swallowed for internal injury, administered to the desperate. And the desperate were not who you might expect. King Francis I of France carried personal mummy powder in his coat wherever he traveled. Not a witch doctor. The king of mighty France, Francis Bacon, the man who essentially invented the scientific method, endorsed powdered human remains as legitimate medicine. King Charles II brewed his own version in a private laboratory. He called it the King's Drops. Powdered human skull dissolved in alcohol. He reached for it the morning he fell ill, 4 days before he died. Roman physicians prescribed fresh gladiator blood, drunk warm at the arena floor as a cure for epilepsy. Crowds would rush the sand after a fatal bout and pay for a cup while the body was still twitching. German surgeons wrapped wounds in bandages soaked in human fat. One physician recommended blowing powdered human excrement directly into the eye to treat cataracts. The man presumably had no repeat patients. These were the most educated practitioners in their civilization, and all of it made complete logical sense to them. Honey preserves flesh. Everyone had seen that. The body of Alexander the Great was reportedly transported in honey. Wounds closed faster when coated with it, so a human body saturated in honey for a full century must be the most concentrated medicine ever produced. The logic was airtight, the evidence was nothing. And 600 years of brilliant, educated men never stopped to notice the distance between the two. Then again, Li Shijian himself added a note at the end of his own entry. He wrote that he could not confirm whether the mellified man had ever actually existed. He was recording what a physician before him had documented. That physician had also never witnessed it. He too was working from a second-hand account. No verified specimen, no confirmed transaction, no archaeological trace of a single mellified man anywhere. The practice almost certainly never happened, but the market for it was real. And the reason the market was real is the same reason the MIT study produced 24 points of difference from a number printed on a label. The brain was not evaluating the medicine. The brain was evaluating the price story. There is a word researchers use for this, and it is not gullibility. The word is expectation. And inside the human brain, expectation is not a soft motivational concept. It is a hard biological event. When a person genuinely expects a treatment to work, the brain does not wait to be proven right. It acts first. It begins releasing endorphins, the body's own opioids, before the treatment has had time to do anything at all. These endorphins bind to the same receptors that morphine binds to. They produce the same analgesic effect. The brain also releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter activated by real drugs, real rewards, real relief. To be specific about what this looks like inside the body, researchers gave Parkinson's patients a placebo injection and watched through PET scans in real time as dopamine flooded into the striatum. Not because of what was in the injection, because of what the patient believed was in it. The brain opened its own pharmacy, pulled out a real drug, and administered it to itself. Neuroscientist Fabrizio Benedetti at the University of Turin spent years mapping the full biological pathway of a placebo response. What he found unsettled the field. Placebos activate the same biochemical pathways that pharmaceutical drugs do. Not similar pathways, the exact ones. He concluded that it would actually be more accurate to reverse the conventional framing entirely. Drugs do not trigger healing pathways. Drugs hijack pathways that rituals built. Because rituals came first. The shaman standing over a sick person 10,000 years ago was already triggering endorphin release, dopamine activity, and immune modulation before any synthesized drug existed to do the same thing. The white coat, the stethoscope, the clipboard, and the prescription pad. These are not professional props. They are ritual objects. They tell the brain, authorized medicine is being administered, and the brain responds by administering its own. Research from Harvard confirmed this in one of the cleaner demonstrations in the placebo literature. The same sugar pill, prescribed by a doctor in a white coat, produced measurably stronger pain relief than the same pill handed over by someone in street clothes. Injections outperform tablets. Tablets outperform nothing. 2 pills outperform 1. Larger pills suggest a stronger dose. The brain is reading symbols and issuing pharmaceutical responses to what those symbols say. This is not the placebo effect misfiring. This is the placebo effect doing exactly what it was built to do. The story becomes uncomfortable because everything described so far, the rituals, the authority, the expectation, has a price variable attached. And the price variable does not just change how much something costs, it changes how much the body heals. When the researchers from the 2008 MIT study debriefed their participants at the end of the experiment, they told them the truth. Both pills were identical. Neither had any active ingredient. The only difference was the number they had been told. Most of the participants did not believe them, not out of stubbornness, because their bodies had genuinely, measurably felt better. And the brain does not accept abstract information over lived physical experience. The body had reported relief, and most people will trust their body before they trust the researcher telling them their body was wrong. This is what makes the price mechanism difficult to overstate. Expensive treatments do not just feel more credible, they generate more real, measurable, biological relief. Which means the market for the most expensive, most elaborately presented, most difficult to source treatments has never closed. It has only updated its aesthetic. The global supplement industry was worth $190 billion in 2024. It is projected to reach $400 billion by 2034. When researchers examine what separates a $90 supplement from a $12 supplement with chemically identical ingredients, they consistently arrive at the same answer. The only differences were the matte black bottles, the story on the label, and the clinical-looking influencer with the British accent explaining the science of your mitochondria. In essence, the price. In one study, participants were given 2 versions of the same energy drink, one at full price, one at a discount. The full price group improved workout performance by 28% over the discount group. The discount did not simply reduce the effect, it reversed it. Participants who paid less performed worse than if they had taken nothing at all. The belief was doing the biological work. The price was calibrating the belief. And here's the part that lands hardest. A 2022 analysis of supplement consumers in high-income households found that the fastest-growing demographic was college-educated professionals between 30 and 50, the people most likely to say they are evidence-based, the people most likely to own a copy of a book about cognitive bias, the people who, if shown this video, would almost certainly think it was describing someone else. They were buying the expensive versions, they were feeling the effect, and they were crediting the ingredient list. The mellified man was for kings and scholars, the matte black bottle for college-educated professionals. There is one final piece of research, and it reframes everything. In 2010, Ted Kaptchuk at Harvard Medical School ran a placebo study on patients with severe irritable bowel syndrome. He gave one group a placebo, but he told them, he said, "This is a sugar pill, inert substance, no active ingredient whatsoever. The bottle says placebo on the label." He handed them the bottle. They looked at the word placebo on the front. They took the pills. 3 weeks later, the group who knew they were taking a fake pill reported dramatically better outcomes than the group who received no treatment at all. Knowing made no difference. Because what Kapchak had given them was not a sugar pill. It was a ritual, a credible authority, a medical setting, a structured explanation, a clear expectation. He had given them everything except the active ingredient, and their bodies had manufactured the rest. This is where the research has arrived. The placebo effect is not about being fooled. It is about the brain requiring permission to heal. And in a world saturated with authority figures, with wellness influencers filming in medical-grade lighting, with pricing designed to signal pharmaceutical seriousness, with rituals engineered by marketing teams who have read the same studies this video is based on, that permission is being packaged, bottled, and sold on a subscription model every day to people who would find the mellified man absurd. The people in the 16th century who bought powdered mummy were not primitive or superstitious. They were running a 300,000-year-old operating system on the best available data, a system that reads cost as potency, ritual as legitimacy, scarcity as proof, a system that, under pressure, stops asking for evidence and starts shopping for the most convincing story. The mellified man almost certainly never existed, but the brain that paid for him is sitting behind the eyes of everyone watching this video. And the question worth holding on to is not whether that brain is capable of being exploited. It clearly is. The question is, who, right now, already knows that and has set their price accordingly?